After winning the Ohio State High School Championship, it was time for us to commit to school. Being a 5-star and being a 7-foot halfback meant a lot of schools had a lot of interest in us. A lot of schools from all across the country, but we decided that we wanted to stay around home, so it became any school near or around Ohio. We could go to schools like West Virginia, Ohio State, Iowa, Bowling Green, Ball State, or Ohio University. A lot of great decisions, but we decided to build something in Athens, Ohio, and pick Ohio University as our school. We would come in as the third string halfback and pick the number 6, donned by all the great running backs in the past. Our first practice, we came in with something to prove, but we realized very quickly that this was not going to be high school football. All of these players are going to be bigger, faster, stronger than players that we had faced in high school. Towards the end of practice, we had our best run of the day, gaining about 20 yards and breaking some tackles, which really made us feel more at home and more likely to succeed at this level. Our first game of the season would be against Louisville, which is the number 11 team in the country, so we really had our work cut out for us. Kick return and punt returns are where we really think we're going to make a lot of impact and where we can really show what we can do with the ball in our hands while we're trying to get that starting job at Ohio University. In this game, we went up early as 6-0 against Louisville, but Louisville right before the half kicked a field goal and they drilled it to make the game 6-3. Coming out of the third quarter, they had to punt immediately, which was great for us to get more reps and get the ball in our hand. But on this one, not much happened as we got tackled after about a 5-yard gain. With 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they had to kick the ball to me after scoring a touchdown and try to set us up in great field position in order to score a touchdown to give us the lead against 11th ranked Louisville. We ended up scoring a touchdown, but then Louisville drove down the field and was able to kick a field goal, and I almost blocked it, but it went to 20-20 into overtime. Louisville missed a field goal right here, which actually gave us a great chance to win the game, but sadly, we could not get any points on the board, likely because we're probably not in at running back. But Louisville scored a touchdown and ended up beating us by 7, 27-20, as we could not score in the last possession. After the Louisville game in practice, we had a position battle against Babcock, which would give us the chance to be the second running back on the depth chart. After the first few reps, it looked like we were going to have an easy path to become the second string running back for the Ohio Bobcats. After just a few reps, we were given a stretch to the outside, which we actually ended up juking 2 of our defenders out and taking all the way to the house, which would give us the second string role at Ohio University. This is great. We're starting to move up, and coach has definitely got his eye on us at this point. In our second game of our freshman season, we played against North Texas, and again, we are going to be on special teams the majority of the game, but here we have a chance to make a great block and make an impact, but we whiff, obviously. We are now in more on blocking assignments and field goal, too. On this play, our kicker actually gets wrecked after the play, which didn't make us happy. After North Texas went up 7-3, we got a kick return here, and we actually had a juke, which made something happen, and we ended up getting a 22-yard return. In the first half, this game was really back and forth with punt returns, and that was pretty much it that would happen. Our punts, we're not really there yet on doing punt return, but we do like kick return a lot at this point. But punt returns are where we're going to get our bread and butter in low-scoring games, which pretty much will happen in the MAC conference. At this point, we are up 16-7, and we make a field goal, which makes it 17-7 against North Texas. We continue to pour it on, and this field goal gives us a 26-7 lead against North Texas. At this point, I kind of thought you would see some reps as the offense keeps ending up scoring, making the score 29-7. And we actually don't get any reps, which was a little frustrating to me, but we get another punt return, which doesn't go anywhere. We end up winning the game here, and it looks like our starting running back had a hell of a game, so it's going to be something we have to chase in practice. The goal for practice today was to show coach how explosive we could be with the ball in our hands. That way, coach was much more likely to put us in when needed, especially when our starting running back was a little gassed. We score a touchdown really early in practice here. Something I know we'll have to work on is how we are in the receiving game. That's going to be a crucial way to get us onto the field, especially if our starting running back cannot catch the ball super well. Another run play here, and we really put on the burners and gain about 15 to 17 yards. Towards the end of practice, we had some great blocking and were able to bust off a big run right up the gap and almost juke out of safety. After practice, coach told us that we would challenge for the starting position after this week, so we were really excited to show what we could against Marshall. In this game against Marshall, we went up early 7-0, and on this punt return, we actually had our best punt return of the season so far. Ended up making a few guys miss and ended up trucking a guy for a 21-yard return. Up 20-0 against Marshall, I really expected to try to get some reps as we maybe would preserve our starting running back. Did not prove to be the case as we kick a field goal here and go up 24-0 without us seeing the offensive side of the ball. Marshall ended up putting up 10 points on the board as we lead 24-10. They have to kick the ball off to me, and we have one of our best kick returns for the season so far as we make a guy miss, end up trucking a guy, and get a 30-yard return. Marshall ends up storming back and ties up the game 24-24 with 3 minutes left in the fourth. It's pretty crucial for me to have a big return here because if we don't have a big return, it's going to be a lot harder for our offense to move the ball. And going right up the gut, we end up having a 28-yard return. Marshall ends up getting the ball back, but they don't do much with it. With 2 minutes left, they kick the ball to me on a punt, and we end up breaking it to the right side and get a nice carry, which seemingly should put us up and in great position to get a touchdown against Marshall. We drive down the field and score, and makes it 31-24 with a minute 17 left. We look like we're sitting in the pretty, and then Marshall ends up scoring, kicking their field goal to make it 31-31 and forcing overtime against us. We force Marshall to kick a field goal in overtime, which would give us the ball back and give us an opportunity to win the game, which we did end up doing. We ended up scoring a touchdown, making the score 44-41, and we won. At practice this week, we had a chance to challenge the starter for the starting job. I'm not going to lie, early in this, it did not look great for us, as we only got 120 of the 700 points that we needed to beat him. And really, at the early parts, it didn't look like Coach wanted us to do well, as he kept calling plays that I could not have an impact on. A lot of read option and pass plays where I'm not the primary target really makes it hard to get points and try to get the starting job. On this option, we're finally able to make a man miss, and we end up trucking someone, and that gets us all the way to 430 points out of 700. In the play of practice, we take an inside zone, make a juke, and that ends up giving us enough points to be the starter for Ohio University Bobcats. We look forward to making our first start in this week's game against Akron. This was the first game of conference play for us, so this was really important, not only for me being my first start in college football, but also for our team. We end up having a great return on the first play, getting about 56 yards, which is something we really needed in order to get up early against Akron. On a 2nd and 5, it looks like we're going to get an option, and everybody's so keyed in on me that our quarterback's able to take it in for a touchdown. Early in the game, it was not easy for us to pick up a lot of yards. We weren't used to playing this level of competition in high school. There were a lot of short gains, a lot of getting stuffed at the line, which is something we weren't used to in high school football. On a 3rd and 8, we end up doing our own route and call for the ball, where we end up picking up a big gain for us. 1st and 10, going into Akron's red zone, we have the play of the game where we have 2 great cuts, a broken tackle, and it looks like we are going to take this one all the way to the house for the first touchdown we have in collegiate football. Being 7 foot, 300 pounds really does give us an unfair advantage against some of these smaller schools like Akron or other MAC schools. But we're not just looking for one big play. We're looking to have sustained success at the collegiate level, and so far that's just not happening. We're having a lot of stops in the backfield and a lot of runs that are being less than 5 yards, which is not great for us. We still are in on special teams, and it looks like it's paying dividends for us as we have another great return on this kickoff, setting us in great position as Akron did tie up the game 14-14. On a 3rd and 3, our coach has a really weird decision and calls an option, which they don't end up pitching, which was not great for us. 1st and 10, coming out of the second half, we have some great blocks, and we're able to make a man miss at the end and take it all the way to the 4-yard line. On 1st and goal, coach realized how big we were and how good we were going to be at the goal line, letting us take it in for a touchdown. Akron was forced to punt on the next drive, which really gave us a chance to showcase our talent. We got to the 40-yard line, we had a hard cut to the right side, which made a lot of our defenders miss. We did end up getting caught from behind, which is not ideal as we are looking to increase our speed early in our career. On this play, there really wasn't much to be made, but we ended up making something out of nothing, getting a gain of 4 yards. With a minute left in the 3rd quarter, we have another amazing play. After some great blocks, a truck, and a guy missing a tackle, we have one juke at the 10, and we end up taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. It's so rare to see a man this big move so fluidly at the running back position. And we weren't done yet. After being up 35-14, Akron scored another touchdown. Akron decided to kick me the ball, which proved to be a mistake, as we ended up taking this kick all the way to the house after making a man miss and then breaking one tackle at the 20. And this was just an unreal play by us. In our first start in college, we're really showing why every school wanted us and how lucky Ohio University was that we ended up committing here. On this 2nd and 4, we end up taking a counter really far, trying to hurdle a guy, but getting a little cocky and being taken down at about the 30. On this 2nd and 4, we run another counter, which might be one of my favorite plays going into college, and we take it all the way to the 1-yard line after being stuffed. On the goal line, it seems like we are really going to be an unstoppable back, as we have a very easy take for another touchdown in this game. With only 7 seconds left in the game, on a 3rd and 7, we run. We probably could have had more yards, but we end up diving to be a good sport. We beat Akron 48-21, and we really looked like we belong in collegiate football. Ending the game with 5 total touchdowns, we're really excited for next week.
Chuki got the sauce, bitch.